Welcome back, you guys. This is my first Halloween makeup tutorial and I'm actually super excited. I must be honest, I had a totally different look in my mind, but this is what ended up being. Anyways, I'm starting with the eyes. You guys know, as always, I prep and prime with concealer and then set it with powder. I'm using today this Morphe 25 beat palette, which is a beautiful palette. I freaking love it. And I'm starting with the lightest shade on the palette, just kind of as a transitioning shade. And yes, you guys, we're going to be using the same palette throughout this whole makeup tutorial. So I'm going just with the next shade, basically using transitioning shades. And I'm going to be applying these shades on the inner corners and onto the crease. Along with this olive tone, which is super pretty, is one of my favorite ones. I'm also going to be applying this heavily on the crease and also on the inner corners. And of course, you guys, you always want to make sure to go back and blend. I'm just using a fluffy brush from Morphe as well. And going back to the same palette, I'm taking a darker shade. It's also an olive tone shade, kind of like khaki. And I'm also applying this on the inner corners and blending it onto the crease. And I'm just repeating the same step over and over till I get that intensity of the shades. And basically just blending. That's the technique for every eye look. Just blend. And now back to my favorite part, which is concealing. You guys know I love to cut the crease, and I'm actually going to be cutting the crease halfway, not my whole entire eyelid. And I'm sorry, you guys, but this actually cut off. I didn't know my camera wasn't rolling, so I apologize. And do not worry about me applying this shade right now, just because I ended up covering it up later on, which whatever. But you guys know my mind's always changing up. I did apply some glitter right along that cut crease. Next, we're moving on to the face. I always like to go in with a toner or something that cleans out my face really nice before I apply anything on it. Next, I am going to be applying a little bit of oil just because my face is super dry, so I always like to hydrate it. Also, I'm applying a little bit of primer. I'm using this Veil Primer by Hourglass all over my face. And we're applying this foundation by Wetnwild, which I really like. And it's super matte, so it's one of the main reasons why I apply oil on my face as well. And I'm just going to be blending this all over the face. I did apply a little bit of concealer, which is totally optional because either way we're going to be applying a lot of dark shadows down there, so you don't really have to put concealer. I don't know, it's just so traditional for me to put concealer there that I did. And I also went ahead and mattified my whole entire face with some powder. And now we're going to be mapping the whole sculpt basically. So I'm just going around my face and creating the same shapes of a skull. I am looking at a skull image from Google as reference, so I highly recommend for you guys to kind of like look at that. As you can see here, it's completely a mess. You do want to map out first where you're going to be applying everything, just because it's so much easier for you later on to go and draw things. So I did went ahead and finish the other side just because it would take so freaking long. And as you can see, you guys, I did change the eye color to completely black just because I didn't really like that red, and it matched more with the skull. Next, taking some gel liner, I did apply it on the outer parts of the wing, just creating like a super sharp wing with that gel liner, and it looked even more black, which I really like, so that's why I went over it. And now moving on to the lower lash, I'm taking this olive tone shade and also smoking it on the lower lash, and I'm also creating like some weird halo lines. I don't know if those are smile lines or face lines, expressions lines. Yeah, I think those are it. Next, I'm taking this darker shade and applying it once again on the lower lash, just really smoking everything out. Of course, can never forget the waterline, and I applied this Flirtcosmetics black eyeliner, which is super creamy, and I really like it. Moving on back to the palette, smoking it out once again, you guys. Yeah, know the drill, just applying a little bit more. Also adding some mascara onto the top lashes only, and applying some of my favorite new lashes, you guys. I freaking love these lashes, they're so bomb. I'm also taking this gel liner by Sigma, and I did add some oil just because it makes it so much smoother to apply it onto the face, and it's so much easier to take off, you guys. So pro tip, in case you guys ever want to apply gel liner onto the face, just apply some oil. It will make your life so much easier. Anyways, you guys, I'm just basically filling in everything that I drew along my neckline, and just leaving those little holes on the center. And I'm also filling in the halos of my collarbone with a black eyeshadow, going back to the cheekbones, just filling in everything, but not completely, and then the edges just feathering it out because I'm going to be drawing the teeth. I'm so bad at this. But basically, you just want to do like teardrops type thing. They're super easy to do, you guys. Nothing hard at all. Yeah, and just feathering out the edges of it just to make it look more natural or more decent. And of course, moving on to the nose, you want to draw like a little mountain shape type thing and then just fill it in. Basically, I also did this frown lines. Oh my god, I'm so bad. On the forehead. I don't know why. Don't ask me, you guys. I'm always doing something weird. And I also added some concealer onto the sculpt mouth just because I wanted it to look more, to pop even more. And I also added some glitter, skipping one tooth, or I don't know what I call that, but you guys can see what I'm doing here. I went back to it with a gel liner, just feathering out and emphasizing those black lines around the mouth, just making it pop even more. And of course, you guys, you can always go back and edit and add more shade and all that stuff. I'm really not good with shadings. That's one of my bad techniques. Like, I try, but girl, I can't. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. This was one of my first one. I don't know if I'm gonna be doing more, but let me know in the comments down below if you guys would like to see more of these Halloween tutorials. Without further ado, please don't forget to subscribe and also a thumbs up, and I'll see you on my next one.